Thank you, Father Olafson, Father Kelly, Reverend Fathers, any honored guests, and my brothers. The priest that I would like to honor this evening is my pastor, Father Donald Libby of the Diocese of Gaylord. I've known Father Libby since I was around 6 years old. Growing up, he was a constant model of a priestly heart for me, totally given to the Lord. He was conscious of the Lord's love for him, and it showed in his love for his flock. The joy that he had in his own vocation overflowed through a heart of totally selfless service, and I owe much of my own vocation and faith to him. The most striking element of Father Libby's ministry is his love. He so clearly loves the Lord, and this love bleeds into all his actions. I would often find him in the parish's adoration chapel on my random visits, and this love of the Lord was particularly evident in his celebration of the Mass. Serving at my parish as a kid, I was inspired by this devotion, and he instilled in me a sense of awe, reverence, and gratitude for the gift of the Eucharist and the opportunity to serve God. I often find in talking to Father Libby that the supernatural is to him more real than the natural. He has a servant's heart, and he loves his parishioners. He teaches a catechism class for the parish, and in all his efforts, he hopes to give us a sense of the faith and an appreciation for God's work in our lives. My family would often have him over for dinner, and he was eager to be a part of his parishioners' lives. He would be present for the parish extracurriculars, and he'd often join the boys at the parish for sports. He'd join right in playing with us in football or hockey, and he didn't hold back. I often suffered a moral dilemma about whether or not I could return the hit in hockey to a priest. But this time spent with him made the faith and the priesthood something real and relatable to me, and these interactions helped foster my own vocation and faith life. He truly was a model of a fatherly heart, bringing the Lord into my life, both through these fun little things and in the bigger occasions. I have one particularly impactful story that I've shared previously in my vocation story, but I'll share it again. When I was about 11 years old, my grandmother was hospitalized with double pneumonia. She had many other conditions and at this point had become comatose and completely unresponsive for 2 days. We called Father Libby in, and as he walked into the room, she sat up and in a clear, articulate voice simply said, "Hello, Father, how are you?" He immediately had everyone leave, heard her confession, and gave her communion. Immediately after he left the room, she returned to her coma, and she died the next day. The Lord worked wonders through Father Libby's priesthood, and although my family was still grieving the loss, the Lord had used him to bring peace. As I grew closer to entering seminary, I would often talk to him about the priesthood, and it was his joy in his own vocation and his patient guidance that gave me the strength to say yes to the Lord. And on a more recent occasion, I was talking to him about my thoughts, hopes, and fears of seminary and future ministry, and I mentioned how difficult it must be to be a parish priest, and especially how much discipline is required to live that life. And after I had shared my thoughts, he said, "Not discipline, but love." Father Libby is a witness to me of what the priesthood can be, a joyful heart of service, leading by example, and a love responding to love. There are so many stories I could share, and these blessings that I have received through Father Libby's priesthood are just one testament of the fruit which the Sacred Heart of Jesus brings when he finds a priest to be a willing vehicle of his love. Praise be Jesus Christ.